everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thought it'd be fun to do a summer beauty favorites or summer beauty essentials video focusing on complexion. So bronzers, highlighters, a lot of the cheek colors I like to wear, my self tanner that I always reach for. Let's first start with my self tanner. Now I should preface all this with, obviously I'm very, very fair. So my idea of like being bronzed and tan may be different from other people. I mean, in person, you can actually see that I'm wearing self tanner today, and you can actually see it like gives me like a nice healthy glow because that's how fair I am. Obviously in like pictures or with lighting and that sort of thing, it tends to look a lot less. But in person, it does look quite significant for me. So, you know, a lot of these things, especially my self tanner, I use the Saint Tropez bronzing mousse and love the color, love the whole, it's not too orange, not too brown, not too muddy, but I also mix it with a body lotion to even make it more manageable and not have to worry about streaks at all. So you probably may get a different result using this if you don't mix it with a body lotion. That's kind of my trick. Because I'm so fair, you can see streaks very easily on me. So therefore, I just mix it with a body lotion and it just gives it like a tint. And so I don't have to worry. I normally apply it like a few days in a row and then it builds up over the days. But I don't have to worry about ever streaking because I mix it with a body lotion. I am really intrigued to try the Tan Luxe drops. And I'll link those below. You actually add those to a body lotion and it turns it into a tinted body lotion. It's designed for that. So I'm really curious. I think I may try those at some point, but I really love this one and also the Express formula. This I can just put on, leave it overnight, rinse it off the next day. The Express formula, you can leave it on for 1, 2, or 3 hours, depending on how dark you want to get. Now, bronzer-wise, I'm actually going to feature this because for me, it actually is more of a bronzer. It's a tinted sunscreen, the one by Sicily that I've talked about for years. And I wear it in the shade 1 Natural, but it's a darker shade for me. So I can only wear it in the summer when I'm like self-tanning or have a spray tan or whatnot. But it is amazing. First of all, the coverage is phenomenal. The finish, I mean, it's a sunscreen, so it's water resistant. It gives SPF 30. But you can wear this as a regular foundation from day to day. I wear the shade 1 Natural. And many of you have purchased this over the years after me talking about it, and every single bit of feedback I've gotten has been, this is amazing. It's better than most of my foundations, which I'm like, yep, it is. It's that fantastic. Oh, let me first also share the tanning mitt that I use. So I normally use the Saint Tropez tanning mitt, and I don't know, sorry, there's like hair stuck to my eyelash. Sometimes it comes off my hand or is a little difficult to use, so I heard great things about the Isle of Paradise. It's like the exact same thing. I mean, I bought 2 of them, so this one's unopened. I have another one in my bathroom. It's basically the same thing, so whatever. I mean, I didn't see much of a difference between that and the Saint Tropez, but I do like to use a tanning mitt just so that I don't get it all over my hands, or it's much easier to apply. Now let's talk about powder bronzers. I have 3 that I go back to over and over again. One's new. I'm sure you know which one I'm going to talk about. And let's first talk about my old favorite, the one that I had said was my like top, and it has since been bumped down to second since trying this other one. The Becca Sunlit Bronzer in Bali Sands. Formula is beautiful. It is not too orange, not too muddy. It has a little bit of shimmer. I love these formulas, the Sunlit Bronzers, because they're very buildable. So you can find your shade, but the formula, the way it glides on the skin, it's just perfection. Not too powdery. Your skin's not going to look too powdered or too matte or whatnot, and there's not a ton of shimmer in this. However, that got bumped down to second place after trying Fenty's bronzer Into Sun. It is much more matte. There's like barely any shimmer to it, if at all. The color is perfection for me. The formula, I thought because it was matte, I was like, I like a little bit of shimmer. Nope, beautiful. Glides on, very buildable. Doesn't look too orange, doesn't look too muddy, nothing. And I like that I can just swipe on a little bit and not have to worry about, taking it down if I put on too much. Both of these are very easy to apply and very buildable. Next, the Laura Mercier Bronze 02 Matte Radiance Bronzer. This one is, I've been using for a long time, longer than the other three. And this one probably is a little more orange than the other two, but I still really love it. It's very lightweight, just glides on. I love the formula. I'm going to try to do swatch of all three so you can see it. I mean, it is like, these are very fair on me. But actually looking at it, the Laura Mercier is the darkest. And definitely the most orange. I mean, I literally just striped them in a row, so I don't even know if you're gonna be able to tell the difference. It's like the Laura Mercier over here, the Fenty in the middle, and then the Becca over here. As you can see, the Laura Mercier is the darkest, a little more orange. These two are a little more brown. Let me see. There it is. So you can see the difference in all three, but I love all three of them equally. However, Fenty's number one, then the Becca Bali Sands, and then the Laura Mercier. I mean, I would repurchase all of them because I like to have a good selection. And moving on to highlighters. Now, I have a few powder highlighters that I love, and then one cream. I love the Matte Radiance by Laura Mercier. This is very subtle, it's almost just like a little bit of radiance to the cheekbones rather than a flat out full highlighter. See, just kind of gives a glow. Really, really beautiful. I didn't include my ultimate favorite of all time, the Clé de Peau, because I can't find my shade anymore. So I didn't even want to like put it on here because the shade that I normally use, which I think is number 14, I'm almost positive, is almost impossible to find. If I find it, I will link it below, but I haven't been able to find it. So I didn't bother including it here, but that truly is my favorite highlighter because it's such an elegant, refined glow. Like if you work in an office or you're a more conservative environment, or you're just more conservative in general, but you want your cheekbones to have maybe a little bit of a highlight, that is the most perfect formula. There's other shades, they make other shades. However, I've always just loved number 14. It's the perfect kind of pinky mix. And so every time I've talked about it in videos, I've noticed it's like I'm able to find it less and less. So I was like, I'm just going to leave it out of this video. I'll mention it, but I'm not even going to get people excited about it because it's so hard to find. Next, the Dior Nude Air Luminizer. This is a lot bolder, but it's beautiful. It is more of a champagne color. I have it on my cheeks today, a lot bolder. I mean, this is really going to give you that typical highlighter finish. So that's what you love. Then, and if you're really oily, I would probably stay away from this one because if it gets onto the apples of your cheeks, it's really going to emphasize any oiliness that you have. The Laura Mercier Matte Radiance, not as much. So that may be a better option for you. Then the cream highlighter, I love. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, is by Chantecaille, the Liquid Lumiere Face Illuminator in Sheen. Now this is, especially if you have drier skin or you just love a cream illuminator, it's gorgeous. It's a champagne color mixed with a hint of rose gold. And it's not too rose where, you know, some rose gold highlighters look, I don't know, for me, a highlighter needs to be more of a champagne bone color. Because if I put something pink or rose gold up there, it's just gonna look like I've got blush up there, which is odd. So this, it doesn't look like that. It has a touch of like a rose gold undertone, but it's not going to look like you have a rose blush on your cheekbones. Now, if you're a darker complexion than me, you don't have to worry about that because a rose gold will be beautiful as a highlight on a lot of skin tones. But for me, it would look like a blush up here. Then, so that's the only cream highlighter that I love. Now, as far as cheek colors, I just go back to NARS Orgasm like all summer long. Am I wearing that today? No, I'm wearing the NARS Lost in Luster palette that I talked about before, but it's very similar to this. And I just love Orgasm in the summer. The NARS palette, I didn't pull out, but I also use that often, but I believe it's limited edition. And the Charlotte Tilbury palette, the Glowing Skin palette, the two blushes in there are gorgeous. In the summer, I love kind of a shimmery eye. I love really bright corally cheeks, and then something on the lips like what I'm wearing. But I really love a bright pop on the cheek. So the NARS is #1. Also love that Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, the NARS Fever Dream Lost in Luster palette that I've talked about over and over again. I mean, yes, but it is limited edition, so I was like, oh, I don't want to necessarily talk about it. And then this by Fenty, the Yacht Stick in Yachts. Oh no, the Matchsticks in Yacht Life. Beautiful. It's a cream formula, and it's this gorgeous. It's, for being a cream, it dries down very easily. It doesn't stay super emollient on the cheeks, but I like that. I know that NARS made a lot of like cream cheek colors and liquid orgasm and that sort of thing. I'm not a fan of most of those. This looks very much like NARS Orgasm, but I like this formulation the best. It is more of it's not, like I said, it's not very emollient. It dries down very quickly. You can move it around on the cheeks, but anything with too much slip, I just don't like on my cheeks because then it tends to make my cheeks look more oily. This is dry enough where it looks great on my cheeks. However, I'm pretty sure that if you have dry skin, this would work as well. And I think this is a great cream blush option if you do have oily skin or more combination skin. And it's in that kind of bright corally pink golden shade that Orgasm is that I love. And okay, then I picked two other products. They're eye products, but one of them can also be used on the face, and they're just perfection. Like, you need them for the summer. The Marc Jacobs Omega Eyeshadow in Primo. You guys know I've talked about this before. It is one of the best. First of all, the formula it's like butter. It's a powder, but it feels like butter. Gorgeous on the eyes, but then also gorgeous on the cheekbones. I love that this is kind of like a dual product. It is an eyeshadow, but because the color is such a gorgeous champagne shimmery shade, it looks beautiful as a highlight as well. So that is a summertime must-have for me. And then one last product that I wear all the time on the eyes in the summer is the Makeup Forever Aqua XL cream eyeshadow in the shade I-50. Gorgeous. Super long wearing, doesn't crease. It's that, once again, as you can see, I love a champagne shimmery with a little bit of a peach undertone. The formula, I mean, I've been talking about this shade for years, and I was like, doing a summer video, I have to include this because I wear this all the time in the summer. I love that on the lid with tons of mascara, some bronzer, a highlighter, a bright corally cheek, and then something like I have on the lips today. Like, this is an Hourglass gloss, and it's a, very peachy, sorry, clean up the edges there, peachy pink color. That's just my favorite summertime look. The Sicily Blur Powder. This has become a summertime complexion product for me because the shade it's kind of this like golden color. It only comes in one shade, so it's supposed to be kind of universal. However, for me, I can just dust it over and it gives my skin some warmth. Not necessarily bronzed, but it gives it some warmth. It kind of makes it glow a little bit. It blurs imperfections. I can also be a little more heavy-handed with it and use it as a contour powder. And it's gorgeous. It is not very powdery. It has the most unique texture. It is a powder, but when you look at the top, you look at it, you're like, is it a powder? Because it looks like there's just like a coating. There's no coating, but it looks like there is. So finely milled, and you can barely see it when I swatch it. However, if you're, you can really barely see it. However, if you're darker than me, this may be a gorgeous just pressed powder, setting powder. It mattifies the skin, but not in a dry way. It's like a velvety matte finish and blurs imperfections. It truly is. I mean, it's called the Blur Powder for a good reason. The Blur Expert. But for me, I was worried at first, when I dusted it all over my face, I was like, is it going to, and it doesn't oxidize, which I love. I'll dust a little bit all over the face, and sometimes when I do that with a darker powder or a bronzer, by the end of the day, I'm like, whoa, that oxidized so much. This does not, and it just gives a little bit of warmth and goldenness, like a golden touch to the skin. It's different than a bronzer. So I can't believe I forgot that, because that was the #1 product that I was like, I want to make sure I include this, because I think it's a great, I mean, I could use it all year long, but it's definitely going to be a summer staple for me. All right, that's it. I will link everything I talked about down below. Would love to know your favorite bronzers, highlighters, self-tanners. Leave below your self-tanner recommendations. I'd love to hear what everyone's loving. And if anyone's tried the Tan Luxe drops, love to know that as well. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.